Hello, ladies. Today, Transformational Tuesday. I hope you're joining in with an excitement to learn more today. And today we're going to talk about how you can add more curiosity, more play, more presence to dating. So many of you women share with me that you're overwhelmed and stressed out about dating. So I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Shue, Amazon bestselling author, speaker, and transformational coach for women. And I just want to share some key tips today so that when you think about dating, it's actually something you really look forward to. And there's a key distinction that makes all the difference in the world. So I want you to think about the last date you were on, or a date that you were stressed out about, maybe anxious, and while you were on the date, you felt disconnected. I want you to think about this. Was your mind focused on the future, the present, or the past? So is your mind focused on the future, the present, or the past? Think about that. And here is what we know. We know that when women go on a date, and if they're constantly thinking about the future, they're often going to be really stressed. They're asking questions in their mind like, ooh, is he the one? Could I have fun with him? Would he be someone that I could trust? You know, we ask all these questions thinking into the future, and it causes a great deal of anxiety and stress because we're not present. We're not present to what's going on. And we're thinking about a future that, you know what, if you're just starting to date somebody or you're going on your first date, I encourage you to go in there being playful, kind of like the energy of being a kid on vacation where they have no one to play with. And do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid? And maybe your family went on a camping trip or a beach vacation, and maybe there weren't any siblings around or any siblings you really wanted to play with. And so what you would do is you would show up, and maybe mom or dad might say, hey, do you notice there's a little kid, a little girl right next to us? That's about your same age. Why don't you go introduce yourself? And maybe that was really stressful for you. But you found yourself in these positions where you would meet another friend, and you would ask the question like, hey, do you want to play? And in asking that, often the other kid was like, yeah, like you barely knew their name or where they were from or anything about them. And before you know it, in the next 45 minutes, an hour, they're like your BFF. You're having so much fun playing with them. You didn't know them. You're not interrogating them about what they do for a living or what their favorite thing is to do. You're just present and playful. So I'm going to invite you to be more playful, be more curious. And if you find that your mind is going into the future, I can almost guarantee that you're stressed out because you're thinking way too advanced in the future. So if you're just starting out, just starting to date, it's as your first date or you've been on a couple dates with this person, be present. Be present. So anyway, so the symptom of thinking too far in advance is stress and anxiety, okay? Now, let's say that you answered that your mind is in the past. Generally, if your mind is in the past, here's what I know is going on in your mind. You're thinking about your past lover that didn't turn out, or your past boyfriend that maybe broke up with you, or you have some regret. Maybe you were in a relationship way too long and you're really fearful of getting back in the game. And so you're present to regret. Maybe you're present to shame. There's something about your past that you're not proud of, and you're so worried about sometime having to share this with this person who you're just getting to know. And so if you're one of these people where your mind is in the past on what happened to you in the past, I'm here to tell you, in some ways, with a lot of love and compassion, I can say it doesn't matter. Today's a brand new day. And if you're on a date right now, or you're going on a date, if you're thinking about you're going to have a date within the next couple of weeks, right? I really want you to let go of the past. Just let go. Surrender. It doesn't matter. It's a brand new date with a brand new person. Okay? So this gives us the opportunity to clear the slate and let go of the past. So if you're letting go of the past, we're letting go of some of the fear and the shame, and we're not thinking too far in the future of like, is this marriageable material? Then where else is the brain to be? But the present. The present. This is where all the magic happens. And I don't think I've ever heard a woman complain about being too present on a date or not having fun for being too present. It's just not a complaint that I hear from women. So when you're present, you're really noticing what's available in the moment. What are you present to with this person sitting across from you? One way to bring your mind to the presence is to, number one, focus on your breath. Really see, where's your breath? Are you breathing in your shoulders are rising up and down? Are you taking more shallow breaths? Even just becoming more mindful of your breath will bring you to the present right here, right now. It's one of the greatest tools you always have to bring you to the present. All right. Second thing you can do to help bring you into the present is to really look into this person's eyes and ask yourself, wow, what color are his eyes or her eyes? It will also bring you to presence. If you can answer the question at the end of the date, what color was his or her eyes, then you're going to know that you brought in some level of presence. Okay. Now, the third thing you can do is become more mindful of your breath. Number two, become more mindful of just bringing your presence, looking into this person's eyes, discovering what color eyes they have. And then the third thing you can do is become more aware of your body. If you're like this, very interrogative, wondering, closing off the heart, or if you're leaning too far forward, it's like, you're too far forward. Maybe you're too, maybe there's too much intensity. Like really coming from this place of almost like neutral, maybe leaning in a little bit. Okay, so be aware of your body position. Is your body open or is your body closed off? All right. And, are you crossing your legs and crossing your arms? That would be very closed off position versus maybe just uncrossing your legs or uncrossing your arms. Imagine leading with your heart. I want you leading with your heart in these dates. And again, bring that playfulness of a child. Bring that curiosity. How can you bring that to a date? Start asking playful questions. What is something that you're really passionate about versus how old are you? What's your job? How many kids do you have? Or do you have any kids? Are your parents still living? Where do they live? Like all of that. What would it look like if you're asking questions like, what really lights you up? Or how can you be more, how can you add more passion to your life? So these are just a handful of things that can help you to bring that level of presence. You don't want to be in the past. You don't want to be too far in the future. Ask yourself, how can I better enjoy this moment right here with that person? The other thing that really can help you to gain presence and step into a date is to have some kind of parameters around, like, have an idea before you go on the date, like how long is the date? I really recommend for first dates, making them short and sweet, like a coffee date, as opposed to a dinner date, or maybe happy hour, something light, maybe going for a hike, and have a container of time. I have coached women that have said, wow, like I only on that first date, I'm already, what if it doesn't go well? Right? And they don't have a game plan. And so for you to be very clear on, like, look, I could get together for coffee Monday morning. I've got about an hour before I go into work. And it just sets that container. So if it's really not going well, you have an out. So setting the context will actually help you to create more presence so that you're not thinking about, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get out of this date? So having that container will really help with that presence. And so those are some top tips. So as I said, ask yourself, where's your mind historically when you've been on a date? Is it in the future, which often will cause more anxiety? Is it in the past, where you're reliving about what it was like to be dating, or the relationship that didn't turn out well, and you have regret, you have remorse, maybe some shame? That would be focused on the past. Or are you really present? And if you are, I applaud you. And how can you bring more of yourself, more presence to your dating life? And in regards to that, some things that we reviewed: your breath, pay attention to your breath, and even just taking a deep breath, okay? Number 2, your body position. Are you closed off? Are you open? And then we also talked about having some kind of parameter. So if you like what you saw today, please be sure to like this video and join us next week for Transformational Tuesday, same time, which is 4:30 Mountain Time. And again, I'm Dr. Kelly Martin Shue, Amazon bestselling author, speaker, and transformational coach for women. Thanks.